All right, here we are at the Sacramento Horror Film Festival. Once again, man, we were excited to tell you about all these wonderful indie films, and we got the writer-directors of a fantastic short called Jinn. How you guys doing, man?
Doing great.
Great.
Awesome. So for everybody at home who's going to be seeing this, first of all, introduce yourselves. Tell me exactly where this idea came from. You guys said some really interesting things on stage, and I think it's awesome that from that perspective of what you guys put together into a short, which, by the way, needs to be a full length. If you guys haven't checked it out, you have to. So give us what the idea was behind this, and how did you come up with the concept of it?
Well, it's a concept that's been around for many years. So many people believe in it. At the Q&A, last night I had mentioned that about 1.6 billion people believe in it, and it's just strange that a movie hasn't really been made the proper way about it. So we just kind of wanted to bring that idea to life. So I think it's about damn time we have a movie about jinns.
It's an old Islamic tradition. The concept of jinn. It's a creation that came from fire, the way that Adam was created from clay, and things like that. And like Mustafa said, 1.6 billion people believe in these creations that are believed to haunt people, to mess with people's heads. Scary concept. There are people in the Islamic world who just bringing up the name jinn or the word jinn, they won't even want to have a conversation with you anymore. So something that raises that level of fear and emotion in a huge portion of the world needs to have films made about it.
Right.
So that's really where the idea came from. On top of that, Mustafa himself, as well as other mutual friends of ours and things like that, have actually had experiences with strange things happening in their house. That a lot of the things that ended up in the film were based on actual real life experiences.
Yep. And what we saw last night when they aired it, and what you spoke about just now, I think that's what sets the tone a little bit different than your normal possession type film. A lot of that type thing kind of comes from ideas of other movies or books that they might have read, and it's more of a personal experience. So with that being said, how was it emotionally for you through that concept of putting this experience that might have happened in your past on film for the whole world to see, basically?
It's interesting because to some people it's just a movie, and I get that, I respect that. But to me and a lot of my family members and people around the world, it's a very real thing. It's kind of exaggerating, making it more comic booky.
So many jinn stories and so many occurrences and even throughout history. So it's we don't really see this as one story that could be told. It's more of this could open the door for a whole genre or a whole subgenre of stories and films and multiple ideas that could happen. And we're working on some of those. We're collaborating on some of those, and we're working independently also on some of those. Awesome. I have a feature film actually that I'm working on right now that we just finished writing it. And it takes place half here and half in the Middle East, in the desert areas in the Middle East. So, and we're trying to get funding for that on Kickstarter and everything like that.
So, for people who are going to see this, what is that and where they need to go?
What I can say about that film is that it's called The Devil's Wife, and it'll take place half here in the Southern California area and half in Jordan.
Okay.
And the Kickstarter should be up towards the end of the year.
I appreciate your time.
If I could add just one thing to
yeah.
making the film. We're both a fan of the gore and the blood and all of that. We are a fan of it. But when we were making this film, we very much wanted to kind of tap into that old style horror filmmaking, like The Shining or Rosemary's Baby, where it's just a creepiness, something that you feel in the pit of your stomach. There's no blood, there's no gore, there's no slashing and killing happening left and right. But it's just a tension.
Pure suspense.
Pure suspense that you feel throughout the entire film. So that's really what we were going for. We were going for that edge of your seat suspense, not so much the blood and the gore, although we do enjoy that as well.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys nailed that suspense for sure. So I was definitely on the edge of my seat. I know David, we were almost cuddling at one point. It was terrifying. So okay, great job, guys. And so if you guys haven't seen it or need to see it, in my opinion, where can fans go and check this out right now?
It'll eventually wind up on YouTube sometime in the near future, but if you're on the East Coast, you can check it out at the New York City Horror Film Festival. As far as any kind of online links, I would say for now just go ahead and like it on Facebook. You can just probably Google Jinn-film and you'll be able to find it.
Excellent. Well, thanks guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to add, my friend?
I don't know, I guess my only question is for you guys, as I'm assuming practicing Muslims, that how is this in exploring that side, like in the spiritual, so just for you as practicing members of a religion, that doesn't necessarily seem to have as many horror type movies with it. How was that?
You know, it's interesting actually, because we actually got some people from our community, from the Muslim community, who I think their hearts were in the right place, but they were telling us, you guys shouldn't make this film. Don't do the film. You're gonna disturb them, and they're not gonna like this. And actually, at our very first screening, we had a Q&A, and somebody actually asked us, aren't you worried that now that you made a film about this, that they're gonna come after you now? The Jinn are gonna actually come after you. So it's interesting to see that part of it, coming from the community. The way that I see it is that it's storytelling, and like I said earlier, this could open a whole subgenre of stories that could be told. Stories have been written in Arabic, in Farsi, in Urdu, in many languages about Jinn. They've been made into short stories and books and things like that. All we're doing is we're taking those stories and we're putting them on screen. So that's one element of it. The other element too is that this isn't the first time that I think that people from the Muslim community have done horror films. Mustafa is actually the producer of the entire Halloween franchise.
Right. Okay.
And he's originally Syrian. And so, I mean, we're all in his shadow. So we're all just trying to live up to what he's already done, I think.
I think there's definitely a want for films like Jinn for that community as well. Everybody has a Jinn story that they have, and we're just bringing it on, on the big screen. So